So it kind of took that transition from like a college to, oh, this is like something really cool in the fashion community, and now we're kind of building around that. Genuinely, as Atlas, we are taking a risk, and our values help us dictate who we want to be involved.
3 years ago, this fashion show was in a backyard. Today, it's selling out 500-seat venues. We're sitting down with Logan, the producer behind Atlas Fashion Show. What began as a small backyard show with friends, aspiring designers, and a passion for creativity has now evolved into a sold-out runway experience.
The very first show was in my parents' backyard. After season 3, we had a sellout crowd. Every seat was full. People were at the door, and we were like, whoa.
Wow.
There's like no losing formula for that.
Yeah.
You're just gonna win no matter what.
Today, Atlas Fashion Show stands as one of Arizona's premier independent fashion events, recognized for its blend of artistry, social awareness, and professional development for participants. Today, we're getting the insider tricks on how to participate in the next Atlas Fashion Show. What are you looking for? Like if a designer's watching this right now.
I kind of design, this is like insider tricks. I like get emotional thinking about it because it's like I love giving them that opportunity. I think that's part of our DNA.
Where do you see it being in like 5 years?
That is a big question.
Just to start off, we were kind of talking a little bit about just how you started. Let's just go into first like this season 7 show, like how was creating that, and then we'll kind of go into the past and talk about the very beginning up till now. So
Yeah, absolutely. Every season is its own unique beast in a sense. So this season specifically, we were kind of trying to figure out a space that would work for the show. And that is really what dictates a lot of how we design the space, how we know how much capacity we have for audience. Everything from backstage to actual showtime really is dictated obviously by the space. So that was a big challenge leading up to this show. But once we had that locked in, that was kind of like, okay, we hit the ground running. We have all of our systems established. Let's do what we know how to do best. And we planned the whole show in like a month and a half. So it was a little bit quicker than we were hoping to. But
how many people does it take to create a show like that?
Good question. They on our official like core team is kind of what we call it. We have about, it kind of fluctuates depending on who's available, but about 5 to 6 of us.
Okay.
But behind the scenes, there's so many extra people that help. I mean, we have one of my good buddies, Christian, who's our web designer, who you know, he goes unknown and unseen at the shows, but so much traffic flows through our website to get people, you know, whether it's models or designers, like involved and invest in the show. And then we have people who come down from Colorado who we're friends with who help us build our sculptures for the show. Like there's just so many people. So overall, I'd probably say probably around 30 people who are like involved in the show week, like setting up behind the scenes, helping out with food and drink. Like it's really cool. Yeah.
That's dope.
That's really cool. So you said that the location dictates a lot of the inspiration behind, because I know you have different themes for different shows, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah.
Is there something in your head, like the type of venue you want prior, or is it really basically based off of the venues you're seeing that are available, and then that inspiration comes later? Like, which order is it?
Good question. From the beginning, I would say it was what was available.
Okay.
So we started, the very first show was in my parents' backyard.
That's cool.
So it was kind of a thing of like, okay, we have this idea. Where could we do it? We weren't trying to make money or anything. We just wanted to have a community-oriented event around fashion. And my parents were like, yeah, sure, but you guys can use the backyard. Like, make sure it's, your friends or whatever. And we're like, okay, yeah, cool, we can do that.
Right.
As we moved on from there, it really just kind of fell into place what venue came next.
Okay.
Somebody from Arizona Foothills was at one of our backyard shows. It was like, hey, we kind of know a place where you might be able to have it. Got us connected with the owner of Arizona Foothills himself, who owns the Union Station, which is the old abandoned train station. And that's where we were able to have the show from season 3 through 6. So we had 3 seasons there. That became no longer available, and we were kind of searching for, okay, what is the next best thing that is... So to answer your question more specifically, we like raw spaces. Yeah. Spaces that are very just an opportunity and a hub for being able to create something.
Like an open canvas.
Yeah, yeah. So that ended up being the warehouse on Garfield this season, and it was just as perfect as the Union Station where we've had it before. Just a raw space, open, vast, and still kind of that. I think we like places that have the underground feel to it. And I feel like,
yeah, I've kind of noticed with the theme that you guys show on Instagram and like the theme of the designers, it's like we kind of mentioned, a little dark and like moody type of things. Like it's a really cool just environment to be in for sure.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, each show is, we try to mix up each show depending on what we are feeling would be a cool thing to try, you know, like what environment do we want to create? So every
That's
show
cool.
will hopefully be a unique experience.
That's awesome. So take us back a little bit in regards to, obviously you said starting in your parents' backyard, right?
Yeah.
Which is amazing. We hear stories like that all the time from entrepreneurs, right? Like starting your garage, things along those lines. What started that inspiration for you to even put on something like that at the beginning?
Yeah, good question. I am somebody who loves bringing people together. That's just something I've always enjoyed doing, whether it was for a game night or a dinner party, something along those lines. And I definitely was the one to host like bigger events in college.
Okay.
Sick.
And I kind of was like, man, I really like hosting these events, but sometimes it doesn't feel like there's a lot of purpose to them. And I also love when there's purpose. So I kind of was looking around just my friends and where I was at college, and I noticed that a lot of my friends were clothing designers, and I was like, oh man, like it would be really cool to have a fashion show. It's a way to bring people together. But there's also a purpose to it. My friends can show off their stuff to their friends. We'll just have a great time doing something that's creative. So that's kind of where the first spark came from.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
And then how did you come up with just the layout of it? Like, did you already like have an event similar to like a fashion show, or how did you know kind of how to lay out this event and the show?
Yeah, good question. So I think it was my junior year of college, I had this idea for a party for Valentine's weekend, but combining it with dressing really nice. And the first thing that came to my mind was the Met Gala. I was like, okay, cool. So the Met Gala, Valentine's. So then I called it the Met. What did I call it? The Met Valentine? I don't even remember what I called it. If it comes back to me, I'll tell you. But basically, it was a themed party where everybody had to dress up super nice. It wasn't necessarily for just single people. Like, anybody could come, but it was on Valentine's weekend. Just a way to get people together and hang out. So I hosted that at my parent's house and had drinks.
Shout out to his parents at this point.
I know, right?
Literally.
They're big supporters, I can tell already.
They're so generous. And this party wasn't, like, for anything official. It was simply just to, like, have a place for people to come and hang out if they didn't have, like, a Valentine's date to go out with that night. You know, whatever it was, just let's have fun. And I also, like, hate saying no to people. I've been learning a lot about myself recently, and I think I'm learning that I'm a people pleaser somewhat, so we're working on it. But part of that for this party was not wanting to, like, make it exclusive. So I was like, you know what? Anybody who wants to come, feel free. Like, we're not going to try to, like, market it to people.
Yeah.
You know, maybe, like, word of mouth gets around, like, hey, are you going to Logan's this weekend? Like, oh, no, I didn't hear about that. Oh, you're welcome to come. You know, everybody can come. And there ended up being, like, 200 people that showed up to my parents' house.
Dang.
And, yeah, they were like, what are we doing? And I was like, sorry. Like,
Yeah, with that many people, you're like, how do I even organize this?
Right. So it ended up being very chaotic. But it was also really fun. Like, there's just so many, like, fun little random stories and memories from that night, even from my parents or my brother who was there. We had my little cousin be, like, a fake bouncer at the door, so he had, like, a little checklist. He was, like, 14 at the time, right?
Yeah.
So there's just, like, so much, like, little fun stuff like that we have memories from. And I think that event really sparked that idea of, okay, that event was fun, but like I said before, there wasn't really a lot of purpose to it necessarily. But going into the fashion show, I think those things and liking to host and being intentional kind of just like it felt like a really easy transition into making an intentional space for fashion.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And at that time, did you like, I mean, you said you had a couple friends that were designers, but were you kind of at all in the scene? Like, did you know anybody, like other event producers, or
Yeah.
did you know anybody in that field?
Good question. No, not at all. So I was still in college when we had the first one. I was a senior, and the only, like, I guess touch points I had in the fashion world were just people who I knew. Like, I was dabbling in getting into photography at the time.
Okay.
And was just doing a lot of photo shoots with people who were stylish, or I would style them, or we'd just go out and have fun. And then I had some friends who were styling. But yeah, it was basically just me and my friends at that point when I had the idea.
That's cool. And were you in Arizona during this time? Or
Yeah,
you were?
yeah,
Okay.
That's right. I was at GCU.
Got you. Okay. Okay, great. So now, okay, take us. So obviously you're doing all of these events, right? In college, you just love to host, and you're starting to realize that there is an opportunity for you to create something that has a little bit more purpose. Yeah. And so obviously that blossomed Atlas. So tell us about your first show. Like, how did that process look?
Yeah.
What did you learn? I'm sure there were a lot of things.
It was so fun. Looking back on that is just, it's just a fun memory, a fun season. But I'll never forget the night that I had the idea. I called my buddy Zane. He is like one of the most creative guys I know. And he was at GCU at the time, also lived like one dorm over. And I was like, bro, I have this idea. You got to come over to my room. So he comes over to my room, and we're just like shooting back and forth, like ideas, like just like for 30 minutes. And then we're like, let's start calling our friends and see if they want to get involved. So then we start calling our friends. So that's really like the very first like inkling of, okay, this could be something cool. And from there, it really just looked like bringing people together that we knew could do something in this world. So, you know, Zane at the time was experimenting with designing clothes. So I was like, hey, do you want to design something for the show? He's like, yeah, sure. And I was like, and then I don't know anything about fashion, like formally or officially, but I was like, oh, I'll do a line that's like styled with all of my own clothes. That would be fun. Yeah. And then I called one of my other friends and then another friend, and all of a sudden we had 4 designers. So then I was like, okay, Zane, like, how can we, like, who's gonna wear these clothes? So then we just started calling our friends. We're like, hey, we have this thing we're thinking about doing. Would you want to be a model in the show? It's like not formal or anything. You just wear clothes and walk down the runway kind of thing. And they're like, oh, yeah, I guess, sure. So step by step, just kind of like, oh, we should probably come up with like a way to invite people. And I was like, oh, it'd be cool to have like a little pamphlet that we handed out. So I asked my graphic designer buddy to make a logo for us. And that is like the same logo we still have today, which is so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Isaac, he's a great guy, super talented actually in the film.
Shout out to Isaac.
Yeah,
Dope.
shout out to Isaac.
Elite group right there.
Yep. So he designed that for us, and then just kind of step by step, like, okay, what is the next need? Oh, we need chairs. Okay, we should probably call somewhere and rent some chairs for the night. And then I was talking to my mom, and she's like, well, if you're going to have like an event at the house, we should probably have some food, right? And I was like, well, there's going to be like 100 people. So she's like, wow, I'll figure it out. We'll make some desserts or something. So then she made desserts.
Nice. Then pieces just started kind of coming together from there.
Yeah. And I think what like my favorite part about that first show was like, how can we make this something like fun for people to go to?
Right.
And that's when we thought of the idea of, okay, what if we had a dress code for the audience, but it wasn't just a regular dress code. It was like there was something unique to it.
Yeah.
So what we did for the first show was everybody had to wear all black.
Okay.
And, like fancy all black.
Right.
And you had to come with your hair done in some sort of crazy way.
Okay.
So it was all black, crazy hair was the theme for the show. And that was a really fun part of like people having a buy-in into the show.
People like themes, you know?
Yeah.
It gives them something, it gives them a direction.
Exactly. So that was really cool to, I don't know, just when people started talking about it, I was like, oh, cool. People are like actually excited to dress up in all black and do their hair fun and experiment. And like some of my friends were buzzing their heads. Some of them were bleaching it. Some of them were, there were so many.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it really just kind of fell in piece by piece as we went, like, what is the next need? And it wasn't really anything like formal, like we didn't come up with this grand master plan at the beginning. So
but I think that's really important, because I think when people are starting something big, or they see you now and they're like, dang, he must have had all these official things like to make this happen. It's like, no, I was calling my friends. I was my family was helping. Like, it's very relatable for people to understand that everyone starts somewhere. So I think that's really important to tell in your story.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really just following something we were passionate about. And we had no goals at the time to become where we are now. We thought it was maybe just going to be a one-time thing, like something fun to do senior year. And at the end of the show, of that first show, everybody's like, hey, when are we going to have another one of these?
Right.
Like, oh, okay. Yeah, like maybe we should have another one. Like, that'd be cool.
Nice. And then how many shows did it take to where like now you started gaining like a community from it? Like people were looking forward to the next Atlas show. Like how many shows did it kind of go into, or when did you kind of feel that like, hey, we have something really going here?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we started feeling like on our side of things, like we had a lot of traction after season 3, because season 3 was like our first one in a venue. We had a sellout crowd. Like the first 2 seasons we invited people. The first season nobody paid. The second season we were like, hey, can you help us cover costs with like $8 ticket? And then the third season was like, okay, we're just going to open it up and like do a ticketing platform and see how many people buy tickets. And like every seat was full. People were at the door and we were like, whoa.
Wow.
Right.
Okay, like it felt official to us, I think, at that point in time. What's been really interesting is because it kind of started out with our friends, the first 2 seasons, basically friends and friends of friends, a lot of the GCU community kind of followed us through season 3. Which was great, but it was a very young crowd, mostly GCU kids who wanted something fun to go to, who kind of had some sort of tangible connection to us, who were running it. Like, oh, I remember, Zane's brother because he was younger, and I want to go to his show because it's a fun thing to do. So as we grew out of season 3, we started, I think after that is when we started actually growing in the fashion community more, like getting people connected with people like Correa and Co. and more fashion photographers and people at ASU FITM, like those types of things is where we kind of started growing after that season, because that's when the college crowd started to die out. Not as many GCU kids know anybody who runs Atlas. Maybe they haven't heard of Atlas, kind of some of that. So it kind of took that transition from like a college, oh, friends, cool, let's hang out, go to something fun, to, oh, this is like something really cool in the fashion community, and now we're kind of building around that.
Nice.
Right, that makes sense. So after you started getting to that point and you started meeting people in the fashion community, how did you go through that process of now, like, okay, I now can be more selective with who I'm choosing? Like, when did it start getting to the point where it's like, I'm going to select these types of models for this thing? Because I know you said you don't want to say no to anyone. So how did you navigate doing things like that from a casting perspective?
Yeah, good question. So from early on, it was like who was available, right? And I think growing into where we are now is really all surrounded by what our values are. And our values help us dictate what kind of show and what kind of designers and who we want to be involved. For the models, so basically kind of the vision is wanting to lower the barrier of entry into the fashion world.
Yeah, talk to us about the values and the name too, because we haven't really dove into what that means.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, I wish I brought my speech with me. I wrote a speech for the very first season, just
I love
for
that.
Fun. Atlas at the beginning didn't really mean anything when I picked the name, but by the time the show came around, the very first season, I had written a little speech and just looked into, okay, what does Atlas mean? What is it? What is un-Atlas, or is it a verb, or is it a noun? And an atlas is like basically a book that contains a lot of information that helps you get to where you're going. Mostly maps or certain like charts, that kind of idea. So from that day, I kind of took it to mean to me that it's a place that helps you find what gifts you've been given. That's kind of the mission underneath the mission. So lowering the barrier to entry is the mission in the fashion world, right? helping designers have a platform, helping models have a platform, whoever wants to get involved in producing, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
We're not some sort of elitist fashion, you
Right.
can't be with us. Like, hey, you have a talent, you have a skill, come try it out, come flex your muscles, let's see what you can do, let's make something awesome together.
Yeah.
But under that, hopefully through the show, through the creativity, through what we are able to produce, it inspires people to find what gifts that they've been given. And that's kind
That's
of, I think,
powerful.
where Atlas is like the name that sticks to me. It's like, okay, this is a place where you can hopefully find inspiration to see, okay, what gifts have I been given? Where do those gifts come from? And how can I go use them for a purpose?
I love that so much.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys do it great with the creativity that you guys put in those events too. Like, it makes people think like, wow, like this, like how do they think of that? Like, I would love to know like how like the thought process went into that. So that's super cool. Everything's just so creative. All the shows are unique in their own way. So
Yeah,
you definitely do a good job at doing that for sure.
Thank you. But to get back to your question on how do we be more selective, right?
Yeah.
So looking back at our mission, it's like, okay, if we want to get people involved, right, we do still have to have some sort of selection process.
Right.
To me, I don't really care so much like who the models are. They're more for the designers anyway. So in season, I think it was 5, we established kind of a model call situation.
Right.
In season 5, we partnered with Agency AZ. This last season, we partnered with Correa & Co. And we basically just hosted an opportunity for models to come, walk. We like made it super clear. You don't have to have any experience. You don't have to have, the right technique or the right body type or the right height, whatever it is, guy, girl, doesn't matter. Come show up. And we had the designers at those castings, and they were able to see, okay, this person would be great for the line. This person would be great for the line. Because, I don't care who models for who, but the designers have a vision, right? So we want to give them the opportunity. So it was really cool. The first season we did a model call. I think, 80% of our models were first-time models.
That's awesome.
Which was, super fun.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody at the show could tell. Nobody at the show was like, ooh, This show, we definitely had more models who had experience, because Correa has been awesome in the fashion space, teaching models how to be in the space. But we still had probably 25% of our models this year were just showed up to the casting. Hey, I've never modeled before. Would love to be a part of this.
And that's really cool. Sorry to interrupt, but just to interject, that's actually really beautiful if you think about it, because then you're mixing experienced models with first-timers, and that's how first-timers learn, and they start communicating and connecting and just feeling like they're part, because now a lot of the time there is an opportunity where people that are super experienced are working with people that don't have experience in those spaces. So it's just really cool to have that ability to mix them, because then they're like, oh, this is something that I could be. I could be like this person I just met. It's possible for me.
Yeah, that's a
so
cool
it's
perspective.
really cool. It's really cool.
Huh. I haven't thought of that before, but I'm sure.
But that's the name of your fashion show.
Yeah,
They're finding themselves.
that's cool.
It's very interesting. But again, being in the space, I can speak to that. It's really cool to see the mix, because and to give the designers the ability to choose is really, really awesome too. Because every designer has different visions for their aesthetic and their vision and how they want the person to walk. And some models are just super hype to walk for certain designers. So it's really cool.
Yeah. So for the designers, we kind of picked them based on an application process.
Okay.
Previously, when we were, I guess, less in the fashion community, we had connections. People would be like, hey, my buddy's buddy wants to design, are you down? I'd be like, sure. What does he design? And then we'd just have a conversation, and I would make a judgment call, yeah, great, I think you're ready to produce something for the runway. Because genuinely, as Atlas, we are taking a risk.
Right.
We're not charging any of the designers to be a part of the show. We're just basically saying, here, come be a part of the show, and hopefully you design your outfits in time for the show.
Right.
And coordinate your models and have the right fittings. So it is a risk, so we have to be like, okay.
And those requirement checks for sure.
Yeah, those early stages was kind of like, well, if you don't come through, shoot. Everybody ended up coming through in those early days, but since then becoming more, I guess, known in a sense. People have submitted applications or requests to apply through the website.
What are you looking for? Like, if a designer's watching this right now,
Yeah.
what kind of things stand out on the application process?
Great question. I think one of the biggest things to me is clear communication and ability to follow through.
Okay.
I kind of design, this is like insider tricks.
This is why we're here, guys.
Yeah.
Right. The sauce.
Yeah, I kind of design the application to be very instruction heavy. So I want to know if you can read the instructions that I listed out and follow through on them.
Got it.
And they're like silly little things, like when you submit your sketches, I want them to be all in a single PDF. Like some people may
Can
be
you
like,
follow
yeah, like, oh,
directions?
why do I need to submit that in a single PDF? That tells me, okay, you're not ready to be a designer if you don't understand why and you don't want to do it and you don't think it's important, right? But if somebody is following through, like, oh, okay, great, I'm just going to combine these. I can figure out how to do that. The internet is my friend. Let's do that. Single PDF. I'm going to send them my way.
Because how you do one thing is how you do other things.
Right, exactly. So just small little things like that through the interview process. I'm like kind of putting the feelers out, testing
That makes sense.
what their capability to follow through and follow instructions is, because that will show me, are they going to be able to do that when it comes time to produce for the fashion show.
Right.
Okay.
So that's kind of probably the first step, is like that clear communication and following instructions. But beyond that, I think what is most attractive to us as a team when we want to put somebody on the runway is seeing their vision. When somebody has a vision and like can communicate that and is just really excited about that and it's very clear, that is just something that we get. So it excites us as a team, because we're like, oh yeah, we get that. Like, we see your vision. We love what you're trying to do. Like, you have sketches. You even have some, like, maybe some prototype outfits done. Can't wait to see what you have, because we know that vision and that passion is going to inspire them to go beyond. Like, hopefully this show is just a starting step for them, you know. We want to give them that opportunity and launch them, right? So that's kind of probably the two main things that we're looking for when designers are applying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the application process, and then from there, how soon then do you meet the designers, or do you meet all your designers prior to the show? I know there's rehearsals and everything like that, but are there circumstances where, like, okay, this is a good fit, or maybe we should rethink this decision? Has there ever been a circumstance like that? You don't have to say names, but like, has there ever been a circumstance where, like, maybe we should readjust?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. There was, in the early stages before we had an application, somebody we got connected with, and what we do is we have a designer meeting, like, very early on, where we bring everybody together. And that's usually just me. Sometimes my producer Haute is there, but we have that meeting and just kind of like communicate our expectations, what we think the show's gonna look like, everything like that. So one of those very first meetings, I think it was season 3, we had somebody come to the meeting and we communicated our expectations, and they communicated an outfit that they wanted to do on the runway that was not in alignment with what our vision was for the show. And it was very natural. There wasn't any hurt feelings. They communicated like, hey, I don't know if this is a show that, you know, I want to be a part of. And we were like, that's okay, because we were kind of feeling the same way. Like, we don't know if that type of outfit we want on our runway.
That
and it was
sense.
like awkward and a little uncomfortable.
But it's better than, you know, in the future while the show's happening.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how I love people, and having relationships with people is like so important to me. I don't want to run a show that's disconnected.
That makes sense.
I want to know my designers. Maybe I can't be friends with everybody.
Right. But you want to have a good pulse check of who's in the show.
And like, that's honestly one of the hardest parts with the models. Like, I wish I could know all of them and like thank them and like know a fun fact about them, or even remember all their names. Sometimes it's hard. There's so many of them, right?
Right.
But I love the relationship that we can build through this, right? So I get to know all the designers personally, and we hang out, and we usually do a dinner after the show, like a celebration dinner. And
That's
things
awesome.
Like that.
See, that's why a lot of the times like models get nervous whenever like they want to talk to like the organizer or someone that's like the designer setting up the show. Like they get nervous, but just like you explained there, like you just don't have the time because you're just so busy. So that's why like it's always great for that model just to like go up to them, because like if they don't do that, then you probably won't have the chance to do that with every single one of them. So
it was so sweet at the casting. I could just tell so many of them were nervous, like
right.
And that was something that I made sure to do at the casting, is when a model came before us. I mean, it's all the designers plus me plus Correa and Co.
Right.
And it's like a panel. It's like, okay, if I was walking up to a panel to be literally judged, I would be really nervous too.
Yeah.
And something that I really wanted to do was not just see them walk back and forth and be like, okay, thanks, bye, but ask them questions about themselves, because we care about their personality just as much as we care about if they're going to be a good fit for the runway.
Yeah.
And we think those type of people fit in the culture well when we have a conversation. But it was really cute as we were asking some questions. Like, you could just tell their voice was shaky, or like they were like scared to like have eye contact because they were like, oh, there's so many people here. I'm like, hey, like, it's okay. Like, there's no right answer here. We just want to get to know you. Like,
we're just people like you.
Yeah. Just hang out. We're chilling. It's fun. Like, you can be yourself. Like, we want to know who you are, because that's important to us. We want to know who the models are and not just be like, oh, yeah, great, cool.
And that translates on the runway, too. You know, like, if they're having a good time, if they're having a good experience, if you're making them feel more comfortable, that totally translates when you're on the runway and you feel you're having fun, you're fierce, whatever the case may be, that shows in the shows. And then the crowd feels it, like, it comes all in unison.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
How is it that you come up with, like, the runway, like, the way that the models walk on the runway? Because on this new season, you had it like kind of like a U, and then they would go like in an 8 around the green towers that you had there.
Yeah.
How was that idea? And then how do you kind of come up with those ideas for other fashion shows?
Great question. So each show, once we have the space, we determine, okay, what part of the space will the runway be in? And I managed to get the architectural plans, the layout plans for the space from the owner, whoever. Okay. And those go straight to Zane. Zane is the interior mega mind for everything, and he builds in his time, his free time. He works. Everybody in Atlas has a full-time job that's not Atlas. So this is all outside of that. He builds an entire 3D mock-up of the space on his computer.
Holy.
From there, he imports all of the chairs in 3D that he thinks can fit, and then he just starts experimenting.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he's a genius. He's so cool. So he's like collaborating with our art director, Cooper, who does a lot of our graphic heavy stuff. And they're like having creative conversations back and forth, like, what do you think about this? What about this? So ultimately, it comes down to what Zane thinks can work best for the seating arrangement with our budget and what we have available. And then from there, we kind of determine, okay, now how do we want the models to interact with this space? So me and Zane will have a conversation back and forth. Okay, that layout looks great. Let's lock that in. Now Zane, takes a step back, and I talk with Havala. Okay, what does walking around this look like? What about this? And this year we brought in a day of producer, Madison. I don't know if you guys know her. She's awesome. She does producing for a lot of fashion shows. And we got her ideas. Okay, Madison, what do you think? What would be the best, shape? What would be good timing? Because that's really important.
Oh, yeah.
Having such a big runway this year, we were like, okay, if if a designer wants their models to go slow, we might need to change up their walk versus another designer's walk who wants their models to go fast. Because we don't want the audience to be in there. Oh, we try to shoot for an hour show, right? 4 designers, 5 designers, about an hour, 10-ish, 15 minutes is a designer. So that kind of helps us determine, okay, we walk here. Maybe we cut this part out for the people who are walking slower so they don't have to walk all the way, all the figure eights.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very flexible, but it really all starts with Zane coming up with this 3D masterpiece.
Yeah, that's
incredible.
crazy. If he
It's
uses
really
like
cool.
Blender or something like that, or
He
I don't
uses
know.
SketchUp. I don't know if you're familiar with SketchUp.
I think
yeah.
I've heard of it before, but that's
Yeah, it's
that's
cool.
insane to come up with that model and like work from that. So, like he's a key figure for
Yeah.
sure. So
Oh, yeah.
big shout out to Zane to put
Yeah.
something
Shout
like
out
that
to
together.
Zane.
Wow.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit more about that. I mean, you've mentioned a lot. You have a lot of people that are behind you making these shows happen, right? And I think
Yeah.
as people watch this, they think in their head they may need to do it all themselves. How important is it to find people that have talents you may not have and put them to work? Because I feel like you're
Yeah.
really good at that. You may say you're a people player, but you know
Yeah.
how to basically pull out these really talented people and put trust in them. So what advice would you give someone that is currently in a stage where they feel they have to do everything, and how important is that to start tasking people with the talents?
Yeah, great question. To be honest, sometimes I feel like I'm an imposter because everybody on my team is so talented. Like, I'm like, am I even doing anything?
But you're the
Like,
leader that's
Right,
found
right,
all
right.
of them.
Right,
so
Yeah, honestly, though, like, having people in my life who are talented is the only reason this show exists. Like, this show is not about me by any means. This show is a collaboration where we want, first of all, the Lord to be glorified through all of our talents, because we believe he's given us those gifts, but then also, like, to give it to the community to bring people together. So don't try to do it yourself at all. Like, find people, lock in, have fun together, and just build a relationship and go from there. And that's, I mean, there's like no losing formula for that.
Yeah.
Like, you're just gonna win no matter what if you have people who you enjoy working with. And
Yeah, the energy is
that
probably
believe the
super
same
good
vision
during
as
the
you.
show.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, talking about that, like, what is like just what some of your favorite moments or just favorite parts when you are making these fashion shows? Is it just like hanging out with everybody, being like, "Yo, today's the day," like, or like,
Yeah.
what is one of your favorite things about it?
That's a good question.
Yeah, this part is just. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much things for sure.
Yeah, let me think about that for a second. I think the joy of seeing the Lord provide. There have been so many moments, like season, I think it was 4, maybe 5. I'm going to go with 5. I'm going to say it was 5. Season 5, we had a just desperate need for tables, which is such a small random thing that gets, overlooked all of a sudden. Like, oh, the DJ needs a table. Shoot. Oh, like, we need an extra table to put waters on. Oh, we need, like, and so the people behind Atlas believe in a creator who has created all of us individually and who loves us deeply and wants a personal relationship with us. And having that shared vision and bond allows us to go to our creator and ask him for help. None of the show we believe would be able to be accomplished without him, without his inspiration, without his ability to allow us to connect well with one another, and ultimately without the gifts that he's given us to create. So within this season 5, this need for tables, we had asked the Lord to help us with the show prior to that, not knowing about this need for tables. And every corner we turned in the union, we happened to find an extra table. And it was just like,
No way.
was that table there like 3 days ago when we were like looking for a table? Because now it's here and we have no idea where it came from. And it's like little things like that that are like, maybe he opened our eyes to see it and it was there all along. Maybe somebody dropped it off when we weren't there. Who knows, right? He provides. I don't. I'm glad he takes care of it. But it was so cool. Like, we needed like literally 6 extra tables. I had all the ones from my house there already. My parents brought some of their tables. And we ended up finding all of the tables we needed for the show. And moments like that are just so joyful for us as a team. Like, oh man, like, the Lord cares about us. Like, even those little things like that we overlook and don't see, man, he's so in the details. He's in relationship with us, and he wants us to find joy in literally those tables. So that's number one where I find joy. Number 2 is seeing the designers fulfill their dreams. Like, oh my goodness. I just have loved every designer that we've worked with, and seeing them grow in their confidence by accomplishing a line that they can put on a runway that people are cheering for, clapping, like being in awe about, and then getting to see them walk out at the end with their models and just like, I don't know, I like get emotional thinking about it because it's like, oh man, like I love giving them that like opportunity, and they are so just joyful and like in awe and confident now in who they are and what they can do. It's just like, it's pretty
That's
cool.
incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
cool.
is there any stories from designers you've worked with or were like first timers on your runway that have gone on to be on other runways since? Like, you know, any experiences that you've been able to follow through since you were at that core stage for them?
Yeah. So it depends on what their goals are. Some of them, especially early on, had dreams of designing, and then they graduated college and like, oh, maybe I don't want to do this, right? But there is one girl who absolutely love her, Grace. She designed for us for 2 seasons, and now she's in Chicago working for a label, which is super cool.
That's
Just doing
awesome.
some awesome work out there in the fashion world. Other than that, I don't know if a lot of them had desires to be a part of other shows specifically, but have found the motivation they need to produce for themselves and for their consumers, right? Whether that's like selling at markets or just making custom things for their friends, whatever it is, I've seen a new level of confidence and step forward in whatever direction they do want to go. So for everybody, it's different, of course. But that's been, it's really cool to see.
That's really awesome.
Nice. So how, like, I know you said that you partner with Correa & Co. and then what was the other one that also
Agency
helped?
AZ.
Yeah. How does it go into that? Like, what do those partnerships go into? Like, how do they kind of help with building what you got?
Yeah, for sure. So it's kind of a fairly, like, easy partnership because models want to be a part of a fashion show and agencies want new faces. So, hey, we're partnering with you. You put a call out to your people. We'll put a call out to our people. You get their information. We get their information. And if you want to follow up with them, great. If we want to follow up with them, great. And it's kind of just like this shared, like even having the space, I think is a big thing for us because we don't really have an office or a building that we operate out of. You know, I'm in my room and on my desk, and my friends are doing the same thing from when we're doing our Zoom meetings. So number one, it's great to have a space that is provided by agency or Correa. And and then of course having them at the show is a big deal to us. It's the part of the relationships. Like, we want those people. It's not just, oh, we're going to use your space. Thanks for helping us figure out how to get models. It's like, oh, cool. We're in this together. You're on our brochure. People know you're helping out. You're supporting us. We're going to give you free VIP tickets. You're going to be front row enjoying the show with us. Like, come enjoy all of the benefits of this. Like, let's celebrate the fashion industry together because you helped build it for us, and we helped hopefully build it for you guys. So it's very like easy, straightforward, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
How many partnerships go into a fashion show like that?
Yeah. Every year is different. This year was probably our least amount of sponsorships, which we're trying to grow in. That's like our number one area of growth is how can we build relationships that lead to sponsorships, that lead to partnerships, whatever it looks like. I think that's really our next step. But I would say the most partners / sponsors we had for a year was like maybe like 7 or 8, somewhere in there.
Who's the most ideal? Like, who's the people that you guys would love to work with or partner with?
That's a great question.
Call them out.
Yeah, for real. I think people who are, I think, aligned, which is very broad in general, but brands that aren't necessarily fashion themselves, they could be, but maybe brands that love the idea of lowering the barrier of entry, of wanting to find new designers, wanting to support the local community. I think we really want to start with those brands that are just like mom and pop or relational brands that we want to support and they want to support. Like one of our favorite brands to work with is a furniture company.
Okay.
So they furnish like for weddings and for events and things like that. I guess they're not a furniture company. They're more of like an event rental, but like high-end furniture kind of stuff.
Okay.
But that's been great because they come in, they deliver the furniture, we set it up, we put them in the brochure, we give them a shout out. And now all these people are enjoying their seating like, oh my gosh, where did these come from? Oh, it's from them. Like,
Right.
That's super cool. So that's like a really fun way to incorporate adjacent companies. But I think eventually the goal would be, this is my vision, like future, hopefully someday.
Yeah.
Is that Atlas would be a place where companies, let's just say name a big fashion label. Like
Louis Vuitton.
Great, Louis Vuitton. Where Louis Vuitton comes to the show and they're like, who is the next best designer coming out of Arizona, coming out of Phoenix, or even maybe let's say West Coast. You get crazy.
Right.
Let's go.
Hey, Arizona's getting there
Right?
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, right? We're growing. So that would be really cool to partner with brands like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, whoever's, in the game doing crazy cool stuff, for them to be there, put their name on it in a way that's like, yes, like this is where we are every year, to see who's coming to the top of the game, and maybe we bring them on our team as a designer
that's really
for us,
cool.
right? Because it's so hard to like really start your own label and be your own designer. It's becoming easier and easier with, drop ship and all of those types of things now. But what I think could be really cool is to see these people who are really passionate about design end up working for companies as some of their designers, because this is almost like a portfolio piece for them. Like, look, I design my own stuff. It's on a runway. Check it out. So that I think would be like super cool, like an ideal one day. But
That would be amazing.
No, that would be sick. I mean, Arizona's definitely getting up there on just fashion in general. So I think it would be, even a big play for them to like just scout and see all the talent that we have here in Arizona. And just anywhere for sure that is like a hub for fashion. So yeah, that would be just a cool move for sure. If like any big brands wanted to do that.
Yeah, for real.
Well, and it's one thing to put a show together. It's another thing to create a vision. And I just feel like that's really what's set you guys apart through the years, is just the creative vision. You can tell there are extreme visionaries on your team. There are creatives on your team that have really good vision. And I think that's also what gets models and designers excited to work with you, because it's different. It's not just a straight runway that's cookie cutter that has the runway music, right? There's a lot of authenticity happening at these shows that may not be happening at others, and it's just something that sets you apart. So what would you say, just with that being said, that sets you apart the most from, other people running shows, or just something that you want to set you apart as someone that is in the industry now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really love that you notice the authenticity that we bring to the show. I think that's part of our DNA. I think, I think doing the show not for ourselves sets us apart. We aren't in it to try to find all the ways to make the most money we can. We aren't in it for the fame or the glory for ourselves. We want to use our gifts, and we want to help others find how to use theirs and give them a platform to do so. So I think that mentality is what sets us apart, I think.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what is like the next like shows, or what's just some of the next ideas that you have coming up for the future Atlas fashion show events?
Yeah. So we usually try to do 2 a year,
Okay.
spring and fall. This spring, I'm getting married. So
Congratulations.
Hey, congrats.
we will not be having a spring show.
Okay.
Marriage
Valid.
is much more important.
Valid.
Anything else I could be doing with my time. So we will be having a fall show this year in maybe October, November. I'm not quite sure the dates yet. But the idea is to continue to build the community around these two big events per year, spring and fall show.
Mm-hmm.
But then to ideate and find ways to be in the community in maybe more accessible, well, the shows are very accessible, but less big events where you don't need to dress up kind of things. Maybe it's a art night or a one designer one-off or a market, things like that, where we can bring those types, the same community together and still pursue that same mission, just in a smaller, more fun and creative way. So keep your eyes peeled.
Okay.
Nothing has been decided or determined yet, and we're growing. The team is always adjusting, so it depends, each year, like, oh, Havila is managing this, and this year. Okay, great. She has like a little bit less flexibility and time to invest into Atlas.
Okay.
Maybe the year after that, she's like, hey, I won the lottery. I can do whatever I want with my time. Maybe.
Right.
Great, cool. So now she can run our show full time, whatever it is. So every year it's very flexible, and we try to kind of roll with it while also creating stability to it. So it's baby steps. We're just kind of following the breadcrumbs, as my 8th grade English teacher used to say.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to Mrs. Gatling.
There you go.
Yeah, Mrs. Gatling. Who knew she would be getting a shout out? Following the breadcrumbs step by step, just seeing, okay, what can that next step be? And I think that's something that, looking back on, I'm proud of us for not being impatient. It could be so easy to be like, let's try to XYZ. Let's try to, take this big chunk and go for this, which is great. Ambition is always great. But sometimes that patience is what produces longevity. Like, we're not in a rush to be anywhere. We have goals, we have a vision, but we're just trying to take it step by step as, where the Lord leads. Whatever.
And that's honestly the best way to like just build trust with the community too, because they see like, if you don't, like, when something just is like amazing, like every show is great, the people are awesome, like people just want to keep on coming back, rather than like if someone tries to do something outlandish, something super crazy, but doesn't turn out right, or the experience just isn't what they thought it would be, then like it just builds trust knowing like you guys always make the best events, like it's always super fun, it's consistent. So that's always the best way to just build trust, to get people to keep on coming back and knowing. So that's amazing.
And one thing that I very much relate to, because I literally wrote a book on working a 9-to-5 and being an entrepreneur at the same time. So
there you go.
That really, like when you said like your whole team works corporate jobs and you guys do this on top of that, I think that's really important to mention, because a lot of people just nowadays, especially on social media, they're like, well, this is all they have to do, right? Like this is they're doing this full time, and that's what could be assumed, just based off of how amazing it is and how great it is that you guys put this together. So how do you think that's impacted in a good way the balance that you guys have had as a team? Like, obviously you have to schedule things out a little bit more strategic in that way. But how do you think that that's benefited your team through the years?
That's
just
a
having
good
that
question.
consistency.
Yeah, I've never thought about that aspect of it.
Because they're doing stuff off the clock. I mean, at the end of the day, they're doing not only a full-time job, but they're also doing this. So obviously it's important enough to them to make that time.
I think it comes from their desire to create something special with their talents. They're all using their talents in their 9-to-5. But of course, a 9-to-5 has boundaries, right? And it's like, okay, well, Zane, for example, is an interior designer. So he has commercial clients who he has to design very specific to their needs, and their office, whatever, which is like not that exciting. In Atlas, hey, Zane, doors open.
Right.
What do you want to do? So I think that working a 9-to-5 in something that your like creativity is like pushing up against the walls and just wanting to escape, this almost provides like that perfect outlet. Like, oh, okay, great. I'm going to keep this like bound up over here, but now I can go release all of this awesome creative energy into this. So that's really cool that you asked that question, because I've never like considered that before, but I think that really is a big part of.
Because all your team is like really good in their 9-to-5s in ways that could benefit Atlas. You know what I'm saying? They're taking those talents. And I also think that attributes a lot to consistency, because when you are working in corporate, I think a lot of the time, like, corporate gets a bad rep, right? Because it's like, oh, you're working a 9-to-5. Like, but it's like that actually, if you treat your job in corporate like you treat your other passions, then it could stay that consistent way because you're showing up for meetings on time. Like you said, that's kind of those attributes you have with the designers. Those are things you learn in corporate. Like, hey, if you need to show up on time, you need to be in these meetings, you have to be consistent, you have to follow direction. Yeah. These are all very hard skills that could be applied. It's a training ground. So I think having a team that kind of has that in commonality has benefited you in a lot of ways that you may not even be aware of.
Yeah, that is really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Out of all the shows you've done now, 7 seasons, is there anything you would change or do differently from, I mean, your first, second season? Like, is there anything, or would you keep everything exact?
I love how every season has gone and how we built on every season. I always look back, no matter what it is in my life, and wish I could be more intentional. I think that's always a challenge when you're running something like this. People get lost in the cracks, right? Like, it was our goal to have our web designer walk with us at the end of this season 7, but it didn't get communicated to Haute, who was announcing everything on her cards about who was walking out, and all of a sudden it didn't happen. I'm like, dang, like, I really wanted Christian to be able to have that moment and walk out with all of us because he's such a huge part of the team, but he goes so unseen. And there are just moments like that every season that I think back on, like, oh man, I wish I could have been more intentional here. And that's part of, like, just the hardness of the amount of relationships and
working against time,
everything like that. But other than that, I've loved how every season's gone. It's been step by step. Every season has learning experiences, but
for sure.
Nothing that I regret. I'm like, oh, dang it. Like, why? It's always like, oh, okay, cool. Now we know, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
And how would you say, like, just with that in mind, how would you say, like, pivoting and just rolling with the punches, especially, like, days of shows, like, how would you say that impacts just running a good production and just moving forward if something doesn't go as planned? Like, well, how would you say the importance of pivoting is?
It's super important to pivot, to be able to pivot. Flexibility will help you keep your joy. I think when we get too set on an expectation, it can very easily be missed, especially in the event space. And I think having that flexibility, which is a huge lesson I've learned. I'm very type A, very analytical, and I'm like, okay, why didn't this happen? And season by season, thankfully, I've been learning to be more flexible, and my joy has increased every season, which is great. I'm trying to think if there's been, like, one thing or something that's happened that's like, oh shoot, now we got to figure out how to adjust to that, but nothing's coming to mind right now.
Nice. Got
That's
systems
good, though.
in place. Got some good systems
And there's probably
in place.
people on your team that are more type B or more, you know what I'm saying?
100%.
There's probably people that have that balance with you where it's like, hey, I know, but it's going to be all right because I already got a plan because I know you're going to ask me for a plan. So here's the next plan. You know, I think it's important to have people that balance you out as an entrepreneur because if you're all one way, if you're all type B, nothing's ever going to get done. If you're all type A, something's going to go wrong, you know? So it's good to have that balance.
Yeah, that was a super fun part of learning about my relationship with Zane. He's so, like, wild and creative. He has a little bit of the type A to him, like, if he really thinks hard about it. But that was, like, at first something that we would kind of clash on or disagree about. Like, I want to do this. I'm like, dude, that doesn't make sense. Like, we don't have money for that. Or, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
But it's been so cool to, like, see it just mold into this fluid, easy dynamic between us of, like, hey, I want to do this. I'm like, okay, tell me more about that. Like, what do you want to accomplish, and let's see how we can, right? Instead of me immediately being defensive.
You've built
like,
that trust
no!
with them too.
Yeah. Which is, it's such a blessing. Like, yeah, just growing together over the years in all of the relationships with people on the team.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
Man, no, that's amazing. Just how much, like, the come up has been from when you first started up till now. Even just the way that you, like, that you just speak about it. Like, I can tell that you really love this and, like, you really have a clear vision on where you want to take it. So where do you see it being in, like, 5 years?
Yeah, that is a big question. It's hard to, I don't know, there's a passage in the New Testament in the book of James that says, don't say you're going to do this or do this. Like, what will happen is what the Lord wills. And instead say, oh, I plan to XYZ if the Lord wills, right? So it's kind of this tension of wanting to be diligent and plan ahead, but also living in where does the Lord have us this season as we move forward.
Gotcha.
The idea, the vision, the dream would to be for at least one or two of us to be full-time doing this. I think that would be really cool. And to do that means more partnerships, more sponsorships, but also like vision-wise, I think hopefully 5 years from now, because let's see, we've been doing it since 2022, so it hasn't been 4 years. Has it been 4 years? I guess it has been 4 years. Like
Yeah, I'm
maybe
doing
three and a
math.
half.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
now.
6,
Yeah.
7. Yeah.
Like 3.5-ish, somewhere in there years. And to see us in a place where Phoenix is established with Atlas as this hub for designers to come and show their platform, and to be thinking about or maybe starting to expand to other adjacent cities. So something like a Cincinnati, for example, you don't think of Cincinnati and think fashion.
Right.
At least I don't. I lived there for a couple years in college before I was at GCU, and it's really cool. There's a lot of creative people there. It's a really growing city. It's actually fairly large if you've ever been there. And I think it would be really cool to have something similar to Atlas in a place like that. Like, hey, here is this thing that you can come design at and show your stuff to the city, and kind of build those places in other cities in a similar way to really create the same environment, the same idea. And now it might need to adjust and look different city to city. I don't know what each of the different cities' fashion landscape looks like right now. But hopefully that would also be the time where maybe the bigger brands are getting involved and seeking out the show to see who their designers could be for.
Yeah, right.
And that's so powerful because, like, I think that if you are from Arizona and you've been here for at least the last 5 years, I feel like we're so blessed when it comes to the fashion community, because other states don't have any. And there are so many very creative fashion people in these cities, as you mentioned, like in the Midwest and other places where they have that calling, but there's nowhere to put it. And so I think that would be an amazing place to go with it, is just to travel to different places where that desire is in people, but there's nowhere to express it. And that's exactly, like, I feel goes well with the mission of Atlas as well.
100%. Yeah, because that's, I mean, for me, kind of starting out, like, that's what it was about in Phoenix. Like, I don't want people to feel like they have to go somewhere else to do what they love. And like, there is opportunity, there is availability here. Like, how can we just cultivate that in a way that provides the space to do it? So I could see it happening in a few other, even like St. Louis. I feel like something's calling me to St. Louis for some reason. But yeah, we'll see.
Nice. Well,
That's so
I'd love to see
exciting.
it happen, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the journey for sure.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, where can people find you? Like, all the accounts for Atlas, or how can people get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Fun fact, I strongly dislike social media. It's like a huge distraction to me. I always get sucked in. So personally, I have a social media, but I don't really use it at all. So if you find me on there, don't DM me, because I'm probably not going to respond. But let's see if I can remember the Atlas fashion show. I believe it's atlas.fashion show, I think. But I know if you search Atlas Handcrafted or Atlas Fashion Show in Instagram, it'll come up. Okay. That's the only social media we have and run right now. Potentially a TikTok in the future, but we'll see. Maybe. Yeah, that's and then atlashandcrafted.co.
Okay.
CO is our website. And I guess if you want to send me an email, Logan@atlashandcrafted.co is my personal email for the fashion show. So
send him an email, not a DM, guys.
Yeah. So
don't send him a DM on Instagram. He won't reply.
I read my email, not the DM.
Man, but thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate your time and really talking about everything that you're doing here in Arizona. So I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much
We're
for-
so excited to see what you have next.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me. It was a blast.
Of
Great
course,
questions.
Of
sure.
course.
It's been so fun.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Leave a like on the video, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast episode.
See you next time.